In this brief video, I'm going to talk about one of my favorite topics, perception, how we observe and interpret what happens around us. We do that through a combination of biology, experience, and our past learning. I'm going to focus on some examples of visual perception here. So let's get started. This is obviously a picture of a horse. But can you answer the following question? Which is closer to you, the front of the horse or the rear of the horse? We can recognize a perfectly normal human face even when it's upside down. Or can we? These two buildings look the same, except the one on the right is a bit more tilted. Or is it? In this picture, is line AB or line AC longer? Most people choose line AC, but when we remove all of the background and tilt the lines, you can see that they're the same length. Once again, AC looks longer though. In this picture, the orange line on the right looks much longer than the orange line on the left, until we do this. And then you can see they're the same length. Here we have a series of irregularly shaped concentric rings. But watch what happens when we draw a line over one of the rings. We see that they're not irregularly shaped. They're actually perfectly circular. Here the horizontal lines don't seem to be parallel, except they're perfectly parallel. Our brain gets confused because of the irregular vertical lines. Here we see two tables, a longer, narrower table on the left and a shorter, wider table on the right. If you look at the object in the middle, it clearly looks like the top half is a darker shade than the bottom half. But if you hold your finger horizontally across the center of the object, you'll see that the top and the bottom are the same shade of gray. I can do it on the screen, but you won't believe that I didn't change the color unless you do it yourself. Here you see a ball rolling back and forth across a flat surface. Watch what happens when we just change one thing in this video. All that was changed was the position of the shadow. And now you perceive the ball flying up off of the surface. Here's an even better one. This ball is going on the same line as the last ball, and it looks like it's zigzagging. The reason it looks like it's zigzagging is the shadow is going up and down. And even if I draw a line along the ball's path, it's difficult for you to not see the ball zigzagging. This square on the Rubik's Cube and this square look like they're very different colors. The one in the front looks much brighter. But in reality, they're the same shade of brown. Your brain interprets the one in the front as being brighter because it's in a shadow. Once again, it looks bright. Here you see a round circle with white balls rolling around inside it. But each ball is actually moving in a straight line. Watch as one ball is added at a time. You see one ball going back and forth in a straight line. And then a second one. And then an amazing thing happens. Depending on the individual, it's somewhere between 3 and 5 balls being added. All of a sudden, your brain snaps and it sees rolling motion. And it can't unsee the rolling motion. Even with the lines there, what do you see in this picture? Most people say a triangle, but there isn't a triangle in this picture. There are 3 sets of rings with a notch cut out of each of them. But people see a triangle. In fact, most people see the triangle as a brighter shade than the rest of the background, when it's exactly the same shade. There is no triangle there. In this picture, it looks like the heart is constantly growing. It's not moving at all. It's a static picture. But the shading is interpreted by your brain as movement. The lesson is that each person's perception is unique. Each person's perception is reality to them. So to influence another's perception, you have to start where they currently are. What you perceive is what you believe. And what you believe is what you perceive. I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for joining me.